Today we're doing 6.8 and we are going to talk about surface area of prisms and cylinders. So there are three definitions that we need to get down, and the first is surface area. And surface area is going to be the sum of all areas of all surfaces of a figure. And if I think of a shape, I think of surface area like wrapping paper. So how much wrapping paper would fit over a 3D object? The next definition is lateral face, and a lateral face of a prism are the parallelograms that connect the bases. So the key there is parallelograms. Finally, a lateral surface of a cylinder is the curved surface. So let's find the surface area of this prism. The one on the left is what you're going to see on your homework, tests, and quizzes. This is an example if you had unfolded it and you had laid it out to make it a flat figure, what it would look like. So we want to find the surface area, and remember, surface area is the sum of all areas of all surfaces. So what we need to do is we need to find every single surface area. So the first one that I'm going to start with is this one right here. So the area of this is going to be 2 times 3, which is 6. But notice I have 2 of those, so I need to multiply that by 2 and I get 12. The next one that I'm going to do is this one. The area of that parallelogram is 3 times 5, which is 15. And again, I have 2 of them, so I'm going to multiply that by 2, which is 30. Then I finally have one more. So the area of that is 5 times 2, which is 10. And again, I have 2 of them, so I'm going to multiply that by 2, and I get 20. Then I want to find the sum of them, so I'm going to add them all up. So 12 plus 30 plus 20 gives me 62, so my answer is 62 units squared. Because I'm using surface area, I just use squared. Alright, let's try finding the surface area of a cylinder. So, as you can see, we have 2 shapes here. If we flatten this out, we have a circle 2 times, and we also have a rectangle. So, let's start with the area for the circle. I remember to find the area of a circle, it's radius squared times pi. So they tell me that the radius is 5, so we're going to do 5 squared times 5, or 25 times 3.14. And we can change that to 78.5. Now again, I have 2 of those, so I need to multiply this by 2, which gives me 157. And then if we want to include units squared, we can. Now we need to do the rectangle. Now we need to figure out what the length is on top. We know this, but we don't know this. So remember, if we take the top of this circle and we were to cut it and roll it out like we did with those rubber bands, it would be this length. So what we need to do is we need to find the circumference of this circle. So we know that circumference is 2 times radius times pi. And we know that our radius is 5, so this is 10 times pi, or 31.4. So this right here is 31.4 units. Now to find the area of that, we're just going to multiply it by 6. And when we do that, we get 188.4 units. So to find the surface area, I'm going to add these 2 numbers together. So 188.4 plus 157, which is going to give me 345.4 units squared. Alright, let's try finding the surface area of this figure. So pause it throughout so that you can compare your answers to mine. So Again, this is a cylinder, so if I look, I have 2 circles. So I want to find the area of the circles, so I know that that's going to be pi times radius squared, and my radius is 3. So I'm going to start out as 3 squared times pi. And I'm going to rewrite this as 9 times 3.14, which is 28.26. And again, I have 2 of those. So I'm going to multiply by 2, and I get 56.52 units squared. And then I also have this lateral surface of what's connecting there. So I have the height of that, but I need to figure out how far around that is on the top. So in order to do that, I need to find the circumference of this circle. So circumference, since I'm given a radius, I'm going to do 2 times 3 times pi, which is 6 times 3.14, which is 18.84. So I know that that top part all the way around is 18.84 centimeters. Oh, and I can change this to centimeters squared. So I'm going to multiply 18.84 times 5, and I get 94.2 centimeters squared. So my next step is going to be to add these two. So 94.2 plus 56.52, and when you add those together, you get 150.7 centimeters squared. That's my answer. Alright, let's find the surface area of this prism. So if you notice, we have 2 triangles in here. So I'm going to start with those. And I'm going to find the area of that triangle, and to find area of a triangle, it's base times height divided by 2, and I know that my base here is 5, and my height is 2.4 inches because I'm looking for that 90-degree angle. And then I have to divide by 2, and when you do 5 times 2.4, you get 12. And then we have to divide by 2, and we get 6. But then if we look, we not only have a triangle in the front, but also in the back. So I'm going to multiply this by 2, and I get 12 units. I also notice that I also have 3 parallelograms here. So I need to find the area of those, and I'm going to start with this front one, and it's going to be 6 times 3, which is 18 units. Then I also see this bottom one, which is going to be 6 here, so 6 times 5, which is 30 units. And then finally we have 1 in the back, so again that's 6. And then they're telling me that this side is 4. So that area is going to be 6 times 4, which is 24 units. Then I need to add these 4 together because I want to combine them. So when I add these all together, I end up getting 84 units squared. And these numbers all should have been squared as well. Okay, I want you to try to do the exit slip, do the best that you can. A good reminder also is if you look here back at your figure and you count the number of sides you have 5. Well, if we look here, we had 1, 2, 3, and then since we doubled it here, this is 4 and 5. So this is kind of a good check to see, do I have 5 sides? And if they add up to the number of sides, you know that you found all of them. So we're going to talk more about this in class tomorrow, so go ahead and try the exit slip.